We are here with Dan Harmon and Rob Schrab. How did you guys meet, first of all? You have a long history.
We started doing stand-up at a place called LA Freeway. My girlfriend, who was a waitress at the time, was like, I'm so jealous of Dan. He's so funny and so talented for a guy who's like 18. And she's like, oh, he's underage. He can't go. And then
got me kicked out of the
got kicked out.
bar.
So
Are you serious?
our first encounter, I got Dan kicked out of a bar. Not a great story, but that's where it started. And then we
Rob made me step on a nail once. The end.
A comic book came around, and that got us out here. And
What comic book?
it's called Scud the Disposable Assassin. Oliver Stone's company wanted to make it into a movie, so we flew out here thinking, oh, well, we created it, so we should write it. And they went, no, comic book people don't write comic book movies, screenwriters do.
And you came out here in 1998?
97, and we were out here at 98. I think we got the Monster House deal. So Monster House has been sitting on the shelf for 10 years.
So how did you guys, I mean, coming to LA, having kind of this, project underway, what was the feeling with you guys? I mean, did you have other contacts here? How did you guys kind of work the system?
Yeah, that's the important thing. I was wondering, I was like, well, if you're asking these questions, like maybe what you want to, I hope you're going to edit this, because...
Yeah, we'll make it look awesome.
A couple of cans, wipes, a little clock wipe.
It's always luck. It's always, like, every story. How did Bruce Willis end up in Die Hard? He didn't do something smart. He didn't like figure out how to end up in Die Hard. It was like some weird random story, and anyone else that tries to emulate that story really specifically is only going to end up being a bartender or whatever he was before he did whatever he did. For writers, I believe, because every time I have seen things work out, this is the only way that they do work out. Come to Los Angeles if you can. Maybe that rule is actually fading away now. Show how much you love writing by writing something that is your favoriteest thing in the whole world as a script. Don't worry about the limitations of the practical universe. Worry about creating a document that is physical evidence of your enthusiasm for writing scripts. The part where the luck comes in and where you try to seed that luck is you be that asshole that gives your script to every single person that you think might want to read it and might be able to give it to somebody else. That's why when we got out here and we handed our script to Teddy Tenenbaum, he gave it to people who have been, that chain eventually is what is responsible for every dollar that we've made out of
If it wasn't for that one person reading our script, we wouldn't be here right now. We'd be back in Milwaukee.
The thing you have going for you when you start is your naivete. The people whose radar you're going to be on, their only chance of moving up among their weird circles is if they discover. So they're looking for raw talent because they profit nothing by recognizing how good the last Coen Brothers movie was. And a big part of that is not knowing what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
So be enthusiastic, don't know anything, and put that energy into it.
Tell us a little bit more about 101. How did that all start?
Dan and I would be writing. Dan would be writing on something, and I would be sitting on the couch and I'm going to make a movie in the other room, which usually involved my penis or something like that.
All Rob and I ever wanted to do was make these videos, have an excuse to make them, have people to kind of bully, compete with, have people that brought the best out in us in an effort to we just wanted to get together in that parking lot and fine tune our hot rods and be the coolest and get together once a month and do that. When we invented the voting thing, it enabled us. The next time we had to introduce one of these things, we got to finally say, you're gonna see some great stuff tonight, and you're gonna see some real turds, and that's the point of the show, and you get to decide which are which.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if half of your show stinks, it's no longer a half stinky show. It's battle bots.
Yeah.
Our motivator was always like, how do we keep having fun, avoiding responsibility, getting props for being talented, creating excuses, techniques to trick our brains into continuing to make stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel like the game is changing and how producers make a living? I mean, how do you feel that's all gonna kind of start working?
I don't know if anybody has really found a way to really make money off of little digital shorts. that are on the internet. There's no music videos anymore because MTV doesn't show them, VH1 doesn't show them, you know, maybe Fuse does every now and then, but the main place you watch music videos are online. This new technology where you watch a music video and throughout the entire video you have like your cursor can go all over the singer's jacket. Oh, and then that, you know, comes up like, here's the jacket, where you can buy it. Oh, what's this car? Like, I think that's probably what's going to happen, that you're not going to be seeing like commercials because people TiVo, they fast forward over them, and when you're online and you see like advertisement bars, you don't even look at them. They're like white noise.
People are looking more affectionately at single camera stuff on television than sitcoms. Sitcoms they still hit that spot that we need to fill, but they got a big crosshair on them.
I watched like Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job, and I'll just like go, that was plenty of entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't need like another 15 minutes or another 10 minutes of that until next week. You know, I mean, like, I think it's like a perfect little chunk to watch it, and I think Adult Swim is kind of paving the way of that kind of miniature TV show.
There's not going to be any difference between your DirecTV like on-demand list that you're scrolling through as if it's a website already, and the Netflix thing, which you're already it's all merging anyway. We can see that that's happening. The big companies saw that happening years ago, which is why we had the writers' strike, because and now that we've did that strike and signed a deal with them, the curtain's coming down, and we're seeing that they knew the whole time that TV is dying. I mean, they are very, very heavily invested in their websites. They don't even care if people are still watching TV because they know they're not going to be pretty soon.
Do you guys know about Twitter? DocWho76 asks.
Who's that for?
Both of you. How often Channel 101 hits gold like Chad Vader, House of Cosby's, or Rock Gods of Rock, and what the creators mess up the most?
Every 5 months.
Every 5 months there's every 5 months. You have breakout hits like Kicked in the Nuts or The Boo or House of Cosby's, which was great. Usually when somebody peaks in their popularity, their instinct is to change everything.
That is a huge thing that everybody does wrong as soon as they walk into any kind of franchise. Their first sophomore mistake is serialization. If you can do all the things you do good and keep your episodes modular, standalone little crack nuggets that will, upon being smoked, make you want to smoke all other crack before and after it.
Heather asks, what does it feel like to be on a show where a chick has higher ranking than you?
When we came out here, like the first couple of people that we were working for, you know, we were always working for women. Whether it was like the Jim Henson Company, where we were working for Lisa Henson or Jennifer Perini. You know, a boss is a boss, you know? I mean, and you take the good with the bad and you try to make it as good as possible, you know? It's really great to have a woman above you. I mean, isn't that what I'm supposed to say?
Chad Kopka asks, oh, how I remember the days when I would see Rob and Dan perform with the Dead Alewives every week. Do they ever miss the Alewives?
No.
I miss being 20.
Yeah.
The last question is from John Palacio.
Fully?
John Palacio, sorry, John. Is there any subject that is off limits for comedy anymore?
I mean, that's like saying, is there any color off limits when you paint a picture? It's personal preference. You know, some people don't have problems with like racial humor. You know, some people don't have problems with making fun of, say, something like rape. We were taught in art school, like, if you want to make something look more green, you put the color red next to it. And I think comedy can look, if you've got like silence and you want something to, you put something loud next to it. And sometimes the silence is just, you know, like ho-hum words, and then boom, this atom bomb of, did he just say that?